I into the London night with a small camera and a stubborn light. The map I found in an old file leads to streets that seem to remember who walked them before me. Breathes like a slow animal, and the brick smells of rain. I follow a narrow lane where an old house leans into the dark as if it wants to hear me. A door is sealed with layers of brick and a brass nail shines from the mortar. I touch the nail and feel a faint pulse. I set my camera and begin to speak. If someone is sit with me, keep the room gentle, keep the air patient. The floor answers with a soft scrape like a key teaching wood to whisper. I ask for a name and a reason and a regret. I hear a breath above my own and the tripod shifts a small inch. The shot turns just a little as if a hand guides it. I thank the room and a shadow sits where the chair would be. The lens clouds at the center like a mouth breathing on glass. My phone hums with another mark on the map. The rail station carries me to Edinburgh, where the city stacks its stone-like memory. The stairs climb between walls that press close, and I reach a door that remembers how to open the corridor. Tilts like a ship choosing a wave. In the back room, a lonely chair stares at a wall that the plaster is combed with 9 tall scars at the height of a shoulder. I lift my hand and feel a cool place where stone should be. A low hum rises through the floor as if a violin sings in its case because someone plays nearby behind me. If you must, I say. The camera brightens without my touch, and I see the faint circle of another chair burned into old dust. I brush the circle, and ash clings to my fingers. Then a breath settles over my shoulder and keeps breathing when I stop. The city outside feels watched yet not unkind. A new pin appears and calls me to New Orleans. Across the water, I wake to magnolia air and hear distant drums. A mansion wears ivy like a careful apology. The gate opens to 2 calm hands, and the mirrors inside multiply me into a column of strangers. In one mirror stands a woman who does not belong to the room. She refuses to meet my eyes. She looks past me toward rules written on stairs. I lower my shoulders in respect and wait. The mirror cools, and the view in the camera shows the woman closer than the glass should allow. Her face holds the stillness of an argument that ended years ago. I ask, who kept you? The house replies with a gold ring on the floor, a perfume of gardenia without a garden and a piano key that sounds alone without waking its neighbor. Then every clock in the hall ticks once the woman turns a fraction toward the staircase, where steps remember feet that avoid touching them. I say he is home without knowing who he is. The hallway moves with me like a slow tide outside the night map, warms in my pocket and divides the last mark into 2 one lies in Ohio, and the other on the English coast. Choose, says the note, the order will walk you. Either way, I choose Ohio and reach a town that keeps its bridges like old letters. A covered bridge crosses black water. The boards remember hooves, and my light respects the wood. Halfway across the river turns from fact to suggestion. Fog braids into ropes that hold nothing. I set the camera on the rail and ask, what do you want me to bring? When I return, the water clears its throat and my light bends like a decision changing its mind. A figure leans over the rail rein, heavy on the coat and hair. Dark as a closed book, I promise to name the lost if they teach me how the river flows uphill for 3 slow beats. And the boards beneath my feet carve 9 new scars into themselves. The camera time skips and lands again. I hold my ground and the figure lifts an arm and points into the fog. Not warning, not accusing, teaching. My arm rises with it, and together we point at a door standing open in nothing for a moment. The air tastes of gardenia and coal smoke and London rain. I see a corridor with a chair that faces a wall and a mirror that does not belong to its room. Every place speaks to every other. The figure lowers an arm and the bridge snaps a chalk-thin note. I leave the dark for the English coast. Dawn unthreads itself behind the train, and the sea holds the color of old iron. A cliffside village leans into the wind, and a chapel waits at the end of a narrow lane. The roof bows like a tired back, and the pews are carved by hands that believe in splinters. Inside the altar smells faintly of salt, as if the ocean learned how to pray. The camera finds a horizon where no window stands. I say this is the last mark on the night map. A bell sounds inside the body. A bookless page turns. I ask for a name I can place it in my mouth. A wind moves like an usher and lifts my hair and smooths the noise of every wind I have met on the lens. A fingerprint curls into a spiral. The tongue tastes iron and mint and the cold of a coin kept for years in a drawer. The pews creak from back to front as if someone invisible rises row by row to go. You may go, I say, and grief opens because I mean it. Something does not go. It sits in the front pew. In the exact shape of attention, I move the camera an inch and the world steadies. The night map is not a path. It is a hinge. Each place teaches the next how to open. I set the camera on the altar and ask the question. I say for rooms that have already decided to answer, what is your order? The answer beats with my pulse until my pulse obeys. First the house that bricks its mouth. Then the room that brightens for a second chair. Then the mirror that keeps the woman who will not turn. Then the bridge that points. Then the chapel that refuses to end the list. The order walks you. The map warned. It did not warn that the order keeps walking after you stop. I try a human trick and speak to the woman as if we met in kinder light. You are not stuck. I say you are an expert at staying. The mirror cools enough to frost and draws the first curve of a name on glass. I lift the camera close for a final shot. My face slips into the corner like a thief who wants to be seen. I will walk the order again if you want, I say. The chapel breathes once and the sea closes. Soft door. My phone hums. The pins are gone and a single line traces my rented flat in London around the desk, down the corridor, past the coats that hang like people who forgot their names, and into my bedroom where nothing is bricked at home. I turn on every light. Some lies are generous. The line stops at my mirror. There is no woman, only the afterimage of someone deciding whether to turn in the view. The mirror shows a chair behind me that I do not own, burned into the carpet like an eclipse. I do not look back. I watch the mirror instead, because that is how you survive attention. You watch what attention does to you. A breath begins above mine and chooses our rhythm. My voice follows, because it is polite to learn the language a country offers. Tell me your name, I say for the last time. That night the spiral tightens to a point. The point opens into a pupil, and the pupil chooses to look where I'm looking, somewhere in London, somewhere in Edinburgh, somewhere in New Orleans, somewhere on a bridge that is a letter to itself, somewhere in a chapel standing at the edge of a grammar written by Water 9, scars heal in wood all at once. I let the camera run until the battery forgets itself. I turn the night map to see if a second page learned to exist. It did. A brass nail sits at the center. I press it as if testing a pulse to learn what time believes about me. A door opens behind me where no door has ever lived. And when I turn to face it, I feel just polite enough to bow.